Yeah, I'm always ready. What were some of these slang terms you guys were discussing?
Bet.
Lit.
Throwing shade on me.
On fleek.
Cap. No cap.
What? All right.
Dub.
What do these mean?
I think cap means all right then. No, ain't the truth. Like,
Ain't the truth.
So how
Yeah.
would you use it?
so you say, like if you was
Boy,
to tell me,
killed that turkey, no cap.
yeah, if you were to say to me, I'm a better turkey hunter than you, and I would say cap, and then you'd be like, no cap.
Where? Who says this?
People on the street, man, you don't know about the street life?
No.
Out in the streets, man.
Street thugs.
Is this
man.
like? Is this like the
we
language?
talking about the cool kids, the cool cats, the on fleek.
Is this like the language you would have to use, like if you went down to that freaking booth down there off the side of the road in the rough part of town and wanted to get you an Obama phone?
Oh, yeah.
This is
yeah.
how you would have to
They'd
talk.
They'd be like, yo, you want a phone? And you'd be like, bet.
Okay.
And then they'd hand you a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I saw that little tent that's set up down there.
They doing iPads too. You can get a phone and an iPad. Thank you,
That's
Obama.
freaking insane, dude.
Yeah.
An iPad.
That's freaking insane.
Or maybe it's just a tablet. You
Blake-
know, I call all tablets iPads.
Yeah.
What's that play? What's
Tab,
that
I
part
call
of
it.
town called, Blake?
Where at?
Where you ride through, like going out toward Mom and them's house, that rough part of town?
Yeah, I'd call that East Rome.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. But like Dean Avenue, down there by the car dealership there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole
East
street
Rome.
just needs to be leveled. It's just a freaking cesspool, man.
But that car lot's like a high-end used car lot.
Yeah, they seem like
Yeah.
I stopped in there the other day and looked at a Tundra. Yeah, they seem like good people, but once you get past that car lot, it's just a freaking cesspool, man.
Yeah. And there's always some type of elementary school in the middle of those places.
Yeah, there's one right there,
It's
isn't there?
weird, ain't it? There's
Uh-huh.
always an elementary school in those places.
Yeah.
Strange.
What's the roughest part? What's the roughest area in Rome, Blake? After all your years of enforcing the law,
I'd say South Rome.
where's that?
It's like
South.
going out toward Edgar's and stuff.
For real?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of on the outskirts of it, but that if you were not to take that weird little right turn, if you coming, down past like where Kelsey and them are, and if you were to veer to the left, down where Allen's got all his rental homes,
Oh,
Cave Springs Street.
Cave Springs Street. Cave Springs
Yeah, it's pretty
Street.
rough down in there.
I don't reckon I've ever been down there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then West Rome is where all the Mexicans are, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're all.
They've
over
got
there.
a little freaking Mexico down there.
Like Dalton, Georgia.
Dude,
Yeah, and then East
yeah,
Rome's
Dalton,
just you.
Dalton is, dude, we rode through Dalton on our bikes during TNGA. And like, I've only drove through Dalton a time or two, but when we were riding through there on a bike, I was like, holy crow. This place is, I mean, it's total freaking crap. How'd you know about that, Chili?
I live up there.
Not in Dalton.
Close.
It's total crap, man.
Got all kinds of doings in
Carpet
Dalton.
capital of the world, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think it was. Is it still?
Is Dalton bussing?
No, food's bussin'.
Oh.
Like when you put it in your mouth and eat it, instead of saying that's good, you say bussin'.
What about Riz?
I don't know what that is.
What about my drip?
Now,
Yeah.
you keep a drip. Chili
I've heard
keeps a
that.
drip.
I heard that from
Yeah.
that little fat kid on Instagram.
Yeah. Chili keeps a drip.
Looks like a basset hound.
Chili cap locks his drip.
Yeah, my drip be bussing cap lock.
This is you guys are discussing the degradation of humanity.
The people that drive the people that say that drive them trucks with the back lowered way down and the front way up.
And a light bar.
Yeah, that's the people that talk like that.
I heard that the Panama City Police was putting the kibosh on that. That's called the Carolina Squat. And when they had spring break the other week, they said the police was putting the kibosh on them squatted trucks. Just writing them tickets left and right.
I didn't know you weren't allowed to do that.
Now you can't modify your suspension and whatnot. Really, if they was a police that wanted to be like a super police,
You know one of those, don't you?
I do. And if you listening, we talking about you. you I mean, you could pull over every 4-wheel drive truck left and right.
I think
Really?
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It ain't supposed to be modified, I think, like over 2 inches. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, would you agree that overall humans are devolving? Like on the micro level, obviously I don't believe in macro evolution. I don't believe in a kind of species turning into another kind of species, but we're talking about,
Societally.
we've intellectually, we've kind of made adaptations to our environment and became, a little more intellectually advanced over, the course of thousands of years as we've, figured things out. But would you agree that just humanity, let's say American citizens are just like devolving in terms of intellect and character, and I mean, speech to me is a big indicator. It's like if you cannot speak clearly and use proper language, descriptive language, like that's an indicator of intellectual devolving.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. All them slang things have no description to them at all. Like bussin' is good, and bet is yes, and cap that's fake. Like it, you look. Hey, I'm sure you've read some of the Foxfire books, right?
Yeah.
And all the Appalachian terms that was considered slang, they were descriptive, but they were looked at as hillbillies and didn't have no sense. Like that side-goggling mean crooked or something. The word side-goggling to me sounds like something could be crooked. When they explained the turkey's gobble, it was chobba-lobba-lob. Instead of saying gobble, they said that thing was chobbing. Well, it sounds like he chobba-lobba-lobbing up there on the tree. All their words were descriptive. But now this communication, it ain't descriptive. It's just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, I've got two things. Do you think the advancement of technology has simply made it easier to be dumber, or it has created an environment to where it's almost a necessity to adapt to being dumber?
Well, has it made it easier to be dumb? Yes. But it's also created an environment to where if you so choose to rely solely on the technology that is available, it creates an environment where you become dumber. Like that's the thing, man. So people, their intellect in terms of their speech and their vocabulary is so low because they don't read. People don't freaking read anymore. Like, they just watch a video. They don't read. And that's, in my opinion, the number one thing to expand your vocabulary and your knowledge of words and descriptive words that you can use in order to talk. Reading is the number one thing that does that.
Right.
Nobody freaking reads anymore, dude. If you don't read, you are an idiot. There's a lot of people that don't ever read.
Yeah, I mean,
I know people personally in my family who probably have not read these people are 50 and 60, 65 years old. They haven't read a freaking book since the last time they had to in grade school. Like, seriously. They'll admit it too. That's mind-boggling to me, dude. What the crap is wrong with you, man?
yeah, I think it is interesting how we learn any words. It's not by reading, because we learn how to speak before we can read. But I do think there's a furtherance of knowledge garnership through reading. I think
Well, when
if you don't read and you just listen, you're not ever investigating or seeking out to understand something better, really.
When you read, you're exposed to words that are not in your vocabulary, and then you have to
Could be
figure
from listening to somebody too. But
and then you have to figure out what they mean, and you have to figure out what they mean because you have to fit them into the context of what you're reading.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
So are you saying you believe that this slang talk is an adaptation going in reverse?
yes.
Like I can't communicate, so I'm just gonna
I'm gonna make something up. I'm gonna make up some sound,
yeah.
just some cap.
but that but that is how language does evolve. I mean, that's how language got to the point wherever you were last okay with it. Is it was evolving and changing and growing, and new words were being created, and like there's not a finite amount of words that like, okay, we've got 15,000. If you add to it or take it away, you're a dummy. You know, it's like, no, I mean, you may have 16,000 words later, and there wasn't always 15,000 words. It's just, I don't know when, like, there had to be an origin of every word.
Well, I would say intellect is measured upon your ability to use the words that are established to mean what they're supposed to mean in the English language.
But somebody created bussin'.
Yeah, a freaking retard. He probably created that because he got off the freaking bus down there to get his Obama phone, and all he could think about was how bad his life sucked because he has to ride a bus everywhere.
But then he was excited because he got that phone.
'Cause he
He
got
said,
his-
"This is bussing."
No, he was
bussin'.
excited about the phone, but then when he realized he was going to get a new iPad with the phone, then he said, "This is bussing." This is what bussing is all about.
Have you ever created a word?
I don't know.
I have.
No, I mean, dude, I
I've
don't
got a
know,
whole
man.
subset of language, man.
It's just it's hopeless, man.
I don't think I see that quite like you do. The slang terms. I think there's always been slang, and it's always changing.
Well, I just think it's one indicator that mankind is getting stupider. Like, I think we could probably identify many other indicators.
yeah.
Mankind is getting stupider, lazier, less self-sufficient.
Lazy is the crux of it, because being more lazy then allows you to be.
Well, even to not speak properly is a sign of laziness. Can be.
Well, for sure it is.
Yeah.
What do you think are the effects of this new language? Cap, bus, and drip, riz.
What are the effects? I mean, I think the better question is what are the effects of the majority of our population in the United States becoming stupider?
Yeah.
It's the weakening. The effects are the weakening of the fabric of our culture, the weakening of every aspect of our culture.
Well, the dumber we become and the lazier we become, the more subservient we become.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that, whatever you want to say, the powers that be care how dumb or lazy you are inherently. They care how subservient you are. And being dumber and lazier makes you more likely to submit to tyranny.
The dumber you are, the lazier you are, that causes you to be freaking broke. You don't have anything, so then you need somebody to take care of you, and so then you turn to your government to take care of you.
Yeah.
So, at one time the word dude was slang, and I guess maybe it was associated with the stoner, surfer, California, what was it, Spicoli type individual. But that's a common word now.
Well, yeah, this has been happening.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that I'm immune to this.
Yeah, but I've heard you say dude 100 times.
Yeah.
To me, you
Even
don't sound,
cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah, you don't sound stupid saying it.
Yeah, that's because none of us are as smart as we could be, including me.
You think you'd be smarter if you didn't say dude?
Yeah. I mean, so listen to somebody like Jordan Peterson, for instance. Listen to the way he talks. He's very articulate. He uses actual words that can be defined within the proper English language. Like, he's an intellectual human being. Like, he shows through his speech that he is smarter than me. because I've been affected by this too. I'm not saying that I haven't on some level devolved with the rest of American citizens, because I'm guilty of it too. I partake in this stinking technology. I don't read as much as I should, as much as I would have to have read if I wanted to find things out 50 years ago. You know,
I'm what? Corn.
I mean, maybe it shows that I'm so stupid I have no patience and I want to hear the rapid, slang or whatever. Because when Jordan Peterson talks, I do agree he sounds very intelligent. He's way more articulate than I'll ever be. But I want to take a grappling hook, throw it inside of his mouth, and pull his words out, because to me it sounds like he's having a hard time getting them out, and he speaks so slow to me.
Well, I don't think that if Jordan Peterson started using bussin' and drip, that would make him less intelligent. It might make him appear less intelligent.
He ain't got now drilled. He ain't got now drilled.
You ain't seen his suit?
He ain't got now drilled.
I like the way he dresses.
I'm not sure that. I mean, I can see you saying, well, that would show that he seemed less intelligent, but I don't think it would mean he was.
Well, you might be right. I see what you're saying.
Because he could choose to start talking however, but that's not going to change his level of intelligence, but it may change how he's seen or how he comes across or how he appears. Because everybody may have a tendency to say certain things, but you could choose to not say anything like dude this whole podcast.
Mm-hmm. That would be a good choice to make. It would be a good choice to identify the slang terms that you use in your language and replace them with more accurate, descriptive words that fit the traditional English language.
I love thinking about language, man.
I know, it's a strange thing.
What are the origins of language?
Yeah, it's a strange thing.
When did that start? We just start clucking?
All different cultures have, like Appalachia, its own language in and of itself. The South in period compared to the North back in the day, the language was a lot different. Slang terms, regular terms, everything. I think it's culturally diverse in and of it's going to be different regardless of your social status, regardless of the area that you live, and it's going to be looked down and frowned upon by others. That's human nature. Mm-hmm. Human nature.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't stand to hear the kids say bro, like, come on, bro. But I'm sure when I was their age, I was saying dude. What's up, dude? I think it's way even deeper than people getting stupid. I think it's just culturally diverse for everyone.
Yeah, have you ever? I mean, I haven't done any. I don't know how long it's been since I've read the account of the Tower of Babel.
Well, yeah,
it's been a long time, but there's got to be something there.
Oh yeah, I think about that all the time, and then how it relates to the flood. But like, go from the origins of man. The language looked a lot different than ours looks now, but a language went from there not being one to it began to develop. And beginning to develop, I can only imagine it was looking at things and then making a sound with your mouth, and then that becoming. You don't think
language was given to Adam by God in the beginning?
Well, that's what I wonder. I don't know.
Well, because that's a good point.
Because how much would have been given? Would he have been given the full scope of language?
Well, because he did sit with God and choose names for things that were created on the earth.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think nothing was given to him. I think it's a process of going around and looking at a rock and going, rock with your mouth, and then it's like, that'll work.
I would like to know what is the oldest known language. Like in known human history, at least for as what we can look at, and at least I don't know if you could actually even prove it.
Yeah, would you call it Hebrew?
Theorize
as the oldest.
What is the oldest known language?
Looking that up, Blake.
Well, right off the rip, Google says Sumerian.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sumerian, Akkadian, and Egyptian are the oldest languages with the clear written record.
And see, that's hieroglyphs.
All three are extinct, meaning they're no longer used. Don't have any living descendants that can carry the language to the next generation.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're considering the first language too, because
I'm just saying, what's the oldest that we think we know about?
well, yeah,
It's probably not actually the oldest.
well, you know, the Sumerian text and Egyptian hieroglyphs, like Blake's saying, but that may not classify in the same way that other things do now, like more modern languages. It's tough because I go back to the beginning of man. How did that develop, really? And how did it stick? And how did you remember it? And then how did you bring other people into the world that then you communicated those things that you had made to them, and then that stuck with them, and then it became established because you both knew it. And languages has to be a common agreed upon thing. Like, we're just making sounds with our mouths right now. And if I was making these same sounds and y'all didn't know you didn't agree upon what this formation of syllables was representing and meaning, well then it wouldn't be a language. We wouldn't be communicating. I'd just be going blah, 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 blah.
It's weird, man.
But I could also do blah, 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 and then that means something to you.
Yeah. Like a Vietnamese. They're just a bunch of clicks and pops.
But what's interesting about that is if you was at whatever restaurant and somebody said bet to you and you said, what are you talking about? They would explain what they was talking about in the words we've been using for hundreds of years.
But then Blake would never ask that again.
Right, you're
then
right.
he could start using bet.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably would.
And then he would go do that to somebody else who didn't know what it meant, and he would explain it to them, and then they would go, all right, bet.
Well, I don't like it. I don't like it one iota.
See, somebody don't know what iota means. You're going to have to explain that.
Speaking of Egypt, how do you really think they built them pyramids, man? I want to know what y'all think about that. I've been pondering on that. I mean, how?
You know what I think it had something to do with? Something in 01.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of speculation around this, but I mean, we've just all been. I mean, the traditional narrative is that the Egyptians were able to construct these pyramids basically using slave labor, and they were hauling these stones that were, I don't know what they estimate the heaviest stone in the pyramid is, but like they were quarrying them and then hauling them and then lifting them into place to form this essentially perfect structure that's aligned perfectly and has withstood thousands of years of existence. Like,
And
The Egyptologists estimate the stones to weigh 2.5 tons.
yeah.
the largest stone, or are they all around the same size?
Oh, well, that's the average.
Okay. So 2.5 tons, that's 5,000 pounds?
It says 8,000 tons of granite were imported from Aswan, located more than 800 kilometers away.
Yeah. You've probably looked at some of this corn, Randall Carlson.
The largest
Graham
weighed
Hancock?
25 to 80 tons.
25 to 80 tons. Quarried and moved 800K.
Yeah. Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson talk a lot about Egypt, but I've never listened to much about the pyramids, but I don't. The thing about Egypt is there's other pyramids like it in the world.
Yeah.
And no one talks about that. China, there's huge pyramids that are geometrically perfect and face north and east and west and south perfectly. And they were made long, long, long ago in other parts of the world. They're all over the place. Why? But explain how any of them got there, not just Egypt, because not necessarily the same method, but you would think the same method was used because it's from the same time period. It's cross-cultural, and they're huge and have huge stones.
There ain't but so many different ways that man could move a 25-ton stone 800 kilometers across the surface of the earth. I mean, I can't think of Well, I guess it could be done. It would just take a lot of people and a long time.
Well, how much are you under the impression that we've had technology that we've lost?
Well, that's what I think. I think they might have had more, like we think they had these rudimentary versions of, because you see some of the other things that they had, and like the way metal was, like I saw a thing the other day, it was some kind of metal wheel thing that was bent like perfectly, and I mean it was nuts. And who knows whether it's really from when they say it was from, but it was definitely old. And so I wonder if they didn't have more technology than we think they had.
What if we had a freaking flood the earth again? What evidence would there be of the technology that we currently have? I wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a flood, it freaking just wrecks crap. And then thousands of years pass. What are we going to find evidence that we had iPhones and computers and...
Look, dude, if you gave me an infinite budget, if you gave me all the money on earth and 5,000 years of life, I couldn't make this.
I tend to think that's correct.
I couldn't make this.
So do you think iPhones and or the pyramids were you don't think humans did it? That's one option. That's one route to go down.
It is strange, man, because I did a little one of my unexplained Bible account episodes yesterday on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching and commenting, by the way. Like I told you guys on that video, YouTube is dropping the hammer on this channel, man. I don't know why. They're dropping the hammer on the channel, though. Yep. They're demonetizing all sorts of stuff. They're not letting you guys like the videos. They're unsubscribing people from the channel. I don't know what spurred it on or what started it. So that being said, we need your support. Share the freaking videos if you get something out of them, man. Share it with somebody, all right? But I was doing that, and obviously looking at Genesis 6, and you look, man, you can only draw so many conclusions from what is written, and anything other than that is just speculation. So you could speculate and say that these offspring that were being produced by way of these angels and human women, the Bible describes them as men of renown, well-known, well-respected. People looked up to them. They were giants in stature. They were mighty men. They were, I think, intellectually and physically more superior, or they were superior to created man, physically and intellectually. I think we can draw that conclusion from the text. So I wonder if these individuals were not helping created man design and develop technology back then that was then wiped out. But if that technology existed, Noah and his family would have been exposed to it. They would have known about it. So portions of that technology, or at least the ideas or the concept of it, would have survived the flood in the knowledge and the minds of Noah and his family. So it could have just kind of restarted, and at least the ideas were still there. Yeah, it was interesting to me, as I did that study, it was interesting to me, we look at, well, why did God choose Noah and his family to save them from the flood? And I've always thought, well, because Noah was one of the few, maybe the only person left on earth who was serving God, worshiping God, and the text tells us, it says Noah walked with God, right? So that's one reason, but then right after that it says, and Noah was perfect in all of his generations, meaning Noah's bloodline had not been tainted by this union of these angelic beings and humans. His genetics were still pure. And I believe that's another reason that God chose Noah and his family to save them and bring them through the flood in order to restart humanity, because his genetic code was still pure and untainted. And maybe there were only a few like him left. But could that technological advancement from the old world, I mean, could that be where it came from? I don't know.
Then why did we lose it? I mean, yeah, it's I'm not sure. I'm not sure how. I'm just curious as to, because I would
You
think.
check that thermostat, Corn?
Oh boy, I would think it's. I just want to know if you destroyed the Earth to whatever degree it has been destroyed again, and then what remnants would we have left? What artifacts would we dig up thousands of years from now? I mean, you're not digging up an iPhone, an untouched iPhone. You would dig up parts of things that would give you clues about what we had, but
well, in the scale that the amount of those things we have are probably far more than maybe what they had then.
So that would be huge, yeah.
You would think of like heavy equipment, like dozers and backhoes, and as many of those and as big as they are, like you would find those things. But
But how much things are buried deep that we've built things over that we would never search?
Yeah.
I mean, how much of the Earth now that when we search for artifacts is not searched? Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing is. It's small, tiny portions.
Well, think of the whole desert. I mean, the way the sand's always changing and layering on top.
Think of the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean.
You ain't finding nothing in the ocean.
No.
We don't find hardly nothing.
No.
In the actual scale of it.
You can't excavate the seafloor.
And what percentage of the Earth's landmass has been searched for artifacts?
A very small percentage.
Yeah, and we've found what we found, but that's in the percentage that's been searched. So yeah, say that same percentage, and all this is buried underneath it. You'd have no idea.
Well, back to my question. I asked the dang question. How do you think they built these pyramids? Give me your opinion on it.
What do you think, Corn? I don't know.
And until I see something different, I myself think it was just massive amounts of humans. But here's where I have the problem with that. How many people would it take to move that stone in and of itself, right? The time frame, and how long could those said people keep that up in a day?
Well, you're the man to ask, Corn, because you've moved heavy stones and stuff with equipment for a lot.
And I see that equipment tear up on a regular basis. The last loader I run could pick up 12 tons with one bucket, and that piece of machinery itself weighed 102,000 pounds. And it wouldn't sustain that every day for very long, I don't know. And until I see something different, that's not really the only way I can look at it. It was just a massive amount of slaves in a really long time.
I mean, how many people does it take to pick up? It said some of those weighed 80 tons. What's that, 160,000 pounds?
Well, and how you hold it.
Well, I mean, they would have had to have been, they would have had to have been using some sort of
mechanical
advantage to create leverage and then to roll it across something.
Something like something in a cylinder.
Even in the way the pyramids look now, they wouldn't have looked that way during construction. I mean, that's the final result. So there's no telling the ramps that were going up and how many twists and turns it was to get to the top. I mean, they wouldn't have looked that way during construction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no telling. I take the four of us. If we was to lay some logs out from here to wherever, to the CrossFit gym, how long do you think it would take the four of us to push a 2.5 ton block on those logs to the CrossFit gym, which is roughly, 2 miles, maybe, in a straight line? What do you think?
I don't know. I've never tried to push a 2.5 ton stone across logs. I mean, four of us might get on it and push it and it just not move at all.
That's what I'm thinking.
But then you're talking millions of people.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could do a lot with millions.
That's what you had, and that's what they had.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Over time, yeah. I mean.
And I think those jokers were probably just very expendable. They worked them until they just could not move no more.
Yeah.
And then they did whatever. You lay there until you can get up, and then keep on rolling.
Yeah, you definitely can't make the case that it couldn't be done with enough people. Like it could be. I believe it could have been done if you had enough people. I mean, you're talking about millions of people. Now you're talking about, okay, well, you can do some wild stuff if you got millions of slaves.
Yeah, there's never. I mean, what could we compare it to that has been tried? What have we ever seen that's been tried with a workforce of millions of people doing the same thing that are completely controlled? I mean, we've never seen that.
No, but one thing you look at, I mean, it's not on that level, but like old school logging.
I was thinking the same thing.
You know, they would use animals.
Animals too, plus all the people.
And they're moving logs that probably weighed tons.
They've got those chutes that they would use to, down a hill to, feed the big logs down. And so, you think of like an old school logging operation. And I mean, whatever animals they had, I'm sure they were able to, had some way of training them.
When they were building the Hoover Dam, though those people weren't slaves, they worked those people like slaves. You worked until they said you stopped. Mm-hmm. And if you couldn't handle it, you was gone, and they replaced you with someone else. People needed jobs so bad that they didn't care. You did exactly what they said when they said. And then, later on is when all the labor laws started getting enforced and stuff. It was because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
When they were building the Hoover Dam, they worked people like dogs, man.
Yeah. Fell into the wet concrete below.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So you never gave your answer, Chill. Corn said he thinks that it was done by human power.
That's always where I've been.
Until he sees some other evidence.
That's always where I've been, I think. But I think it still needs an explanation of how they did it. And I don't have much for that other than I think you're talking a ton of people, a ton of animals, and technologies and equipment that we don't know what they had. Mm-hmm. They had it, and we've lost it.
So a little combination then.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Blake?
I think they had some high technology we don't know about.
Yeah. Do you think technology given to us by some evil spirit?
Well, that's thought, but
I mean, people make the case about that, about the technology we have now and the iPhone and the artificial intelligence.
Well, you look at
that's not human created.
How long humans have been around, and just in the recent, last 50 years, we've just had tremendous increase in technology, they call it. And I mean, even that, as old or recent as the TV or even the light bulb and those kind of things. And I mean, I think it's a little bit crazy to think that they couldn't have got to maybe not those exact inventions, but from the period till things were reset at the flood, that they couldn't have got technology. I'm not saying cell phones and things, but like more advanced technology than we're thinking. Oh, they had sticks and stones, and that was all they had to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chili's saying that there are people who think that actually the technology that we're using now and has been developed over the last 50 years
is not human.
Is not human.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that statement, I can make sense of that statement in my head in light of the fact that I just told you if you gave me an infinite budget and 2,000 years or whatever, I couldn't figure this out.
Well,
yeah.
But you're also not a computer. So are you saying the people that, because somebody created the iPhone. Now, through what power? Or are you saying that
somebody
where did they
or
gain
a group
the knowledge?
Of people.
Yeah, but where did they gain the knowledge? Did they figure it out?
Mm-hmm. Or was it like some sort of revelation?
Did they receive it? The idea and the design of it from some non-human source.
Yeah.
I mean, the functionality of it all it really is. Of course, I'm just an idiot, but it's mind bending.
Yeah,
Like
especially
that you just scroll your finger and like the world, the full scope and spectrum of human knowledge, so to speak, is at your fingertips. That doesn't compute.
It's mind bending also when you compare it in light of the few thousand years of known human history that we have, and how little things changed over the course of many thousands of years.
Which is how it would be, right? One thing feeds off of the other.
Yeah.
It's moving like this, barely up, barely up, barely up, a little more up, whoa.
Okay.
I mean, that. I think that is expected.
Yeah, so I think like the progression of the first computer was so humongous, all the components, it wouldn't even have fit in this entire office building that we're in. It wouldn't have fit there. However many years ago was that. So what I think is, okay, so what was the main catalyst?
What turned
for
it?
the speed?
Yeah.
Was it electricity?
Was it Tesla?
The car?
Mm-hmm.
You know, was it whatever it may be, running water to the masses? You know, what was it? Because something ramped it up right then.
Yeah,
and whether or not something came here and gave us that during it, I'm not saying that isn't a possibility, but I think something definitely ramped technology up really fast, and it's become a progression.
Right.
So however many years ago that big, humongous computer started, I don't think it's unfathomable to think that now we're possibly at this point from that day.
Mm-hmm.
It's something else, man.
So what did you think it's electricity that started and people being able, or was it the refrigerator? I mean,
just off the top of my head, I would go back to electricity as being that ushered in the new age of what we have now. But looking at Tesla, so much is confusing about who actually invented what is misattributed, what did Tesla really invent? Who did he steal it from? Who invented things that's actually Tesla technology that they stole from him? You know, who gets the credit, who doesn't get the credit? But it's a possibility that Tesla or whoever had way more at the time that got buried at the time. I mean, I don't think this is Tesla technology, but it's just an example. We had essentially, when I say we, the U.S. government, the United States Technological Patents has blueprints and patents for technological devices that look a lot like the mobile devices that we have and VR goggles and VR glasses and other artificial intelligence pieces. We had those in the daggum 60s. You can go look them up.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean, you can look it up. I mean, you can find them. That's bizarre. I mean, what happened to that? How did they have that? Does knowing that they have that does that give more credence to the idea that we didn't freaking do it? Because it's like that was invented without the necessary predecessors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because see, you can.
It wasn't a gradually evolving process.
No, it's like we went from.
You had the plans, but you didn't have the knowledge to actually build the plan out.
Yeah, we didn't have a TV yet, but we had VR goggles in blueprint form.
That's a good point, though. And Chad, I'm sure you could articulate on this point. A lot of the things that we use now in public, the military had way before now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, GPS is one.
Yeah, GPS. Nobody had night vision 20 years ago or 25 years ago. How long did the military have it? Thermal imaging. I remember 2016, we started putting that on the police cars, on the spotlights, where we would do, it had a function where you could not turn the light on and just point it in the direction, and it would come through your computer, not to alert whoever you're looking for.
Yeah, the infrared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did the military have that?
Yeah.
A lot of the technology the military had way before now and had probably secretly way before we even knew that.
I wouldn't say way, at least to my knowledge, not way before. I would say decades before, but not like 60, 70 years before.
I got you.
Yeah. I guess I've always thought this verse was very interesting in context of the conversation that we're having in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. And this is the end of, I think this is an angel of God giving Daniel this revelation of events in the last days. And he finishes up the revelation with saying, "But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase." It's like, that is very clear to me. That is a very clear sign. Why would this be put in there? Like, it's very articulate, it's very clear, and we can't ignore that, for whatever reason, that steep curve in increase in technology. Like, this is just an interesting verse to me. I've always thought about it.
In light of the earlier conversation that started off this podcast, how do you make...
This is a podcast, by the way.
How do you make sense of the fact that what it says in Daniel is happening, but also, as we talked about, we're getting dumber?
Yeah.
But both are happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
and on what level are both happening?
The masses are getting dumber.
But overall, what humanity is capable of and possesses within their grasp and of knowledge is increasing.
Yeah,
rapidly.
Yeah, but it is making the masses dumber. Like, the masses are the Walmartians. If you're confused about what I say about the masses, go to the Walmart in West Rome, or go to the Walmart in Tryon, Georgia. It's horrific. I went into Walmart the other day to buy that phone for our call-in show, and I was astounded. I was literally astounded at the figure of human that was represented in the Walmart. I don't go to Walmart. I just went there because Cornbread told me about the Walmart phone. And he told me I didn't qualify for an Obama phone.
No, you don't. You don't. You ain't bussing.
Well, yeah.
Have you been to Walmart lately? Blake? You have, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I love Walmart. I go there all the time.
I do, too.
Yeah.
It's where low prices.
The easiest place to buy deer corn, man.
I think the upstanding citizens
between the rollbacks, markdowns.
It's bad, man.
West Rome's got, that's kind of your upper class. You want to go to the good one, go to East Rome.
No,
that's where all your thievery happens and stuff.
I went to the Walmart one time in Tryon, Georgia, and it was wild, son. I mean, it was wild.
Just the riffraff?
Yeah, I mean,
I would like to know who would win in a fight between the Walmart in Tryon and the Walmart in Bremen, Georgia.
Just pluck out whoever's in each of them right now and just have them
wild and right.
Make them take a Scantron test. Make them take an SAT.
Scantron.
An SAT and an arm wrestling competition.
Oh man!
Now these people, they're probably strong.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So, do you think it's specifically talking about the knowledge that was talking about in Daniel? It progressing in technology.
Good question.
Do you think it's particularly speaking on like the progression of
That's
all the way to our demise?
The way I interpret it is that it's speaking
hey, I'm so smart because I got this Google.
Yes, because
well, maybe it's both.
What is smart and what is intelligence? Because everybody in this room and everybody listening to this podcast knows more knowledge probably than Tesla knew. It's a long
Well,
time
yeah,
ago. I mean, like, maybe not, but my example is go as far back as you want, whoever was the smartest at the time.
You can definitely say they have more access to knowledge.
Yeah, and well, Tesla didn't know how to. He didn't know nothing. He didn't know how to play Doodle Jump on his iPhone.
Chili be playing that doodle jump
Playing Doodle Jump, eating fried eggs.
with cheese.
He didn't know how to play Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Like, that's a stupid example, but he didn't know so much because it wasn't available to be known.
That's right.
But he had the intellectual capacity and the required intelligence. He's way smarter than we are. But he may not have known as much stuff.
I see what you're saying.
So how do you measure it?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good question.
He didn't know how to drive. He didn't know how to drive a car. He's a slack-jawed idiot. I mean, but it wasn't available to be known. It didn't exist. So, because the technology is progressing, what we know collectively is going to increase.
Right.
But we don't have to be getting smarter for that to be true.
Yeah. So, like on a line, like everyone can pretty much know the same thing now. Everyone in our circle with Google, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But now you have that line of experience and how to apply the things you went through in life and the skill sets that you have. That's the only difference. Talking particularly about knowledge, like everyone, if that's what it means, like I don't know. I'm asking y'all's opinion. Like we're all on the same level when it comes to Google, the same exact level. And new things are being put on Google right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, access to knowledge and the ability to interpret it and do something with it is different.
Yep.
Like you can have
And understanding it.
And it's what does it say in the word? Knowledge, particularly.
It just says, many shall run to and fro, which a lot of people have interpreted, also use that as a sign of the end times. Many shall run to and fro as a sign of our ability to travel and traverse the earth very quickly, and how air travel's made that possible. And then it says, and knowledge shall increase. So,
Well, knowledge has increased.
yeah, and knowledge, and it can go hand in hand with my idea of the human becoming less intellectual, because, as Chili just said, knowledge doesn't necessarily mean intellect.
Right.
So, I can't get, I don't know about you guys, but I can't get over the fact that the logo for this Apple phone is an apple with a bite taken out of it. I can't get over that.
Yeah.
Because of the symbolism with Genesis.
Yeah, I can't, I literally can't ignore that. Am I being ridiculous?
Who knows, man?
Look, there it is.
I see it. I don't know. I mean, how do you know that was intentional or not?
Well, if your company's name, even if it's Apple, which to begin with, what does Apple have to do with technology, like a phone, a computer?
Well, why is anything named what it's named? Why is Google named
And then
Google?
why would you put it on there with a cut out of it? Like why
A
would
bite
you,
out of it.
Why would you? If
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna name my company Banana, would I? Why
you
would I
might
just?
peel it and have a bite out of it.
Why?
Well, come on,
Because
now.
you're partaking in the product. So
Yeah, I
therefore
mean,
you're
like,
biting
why? Because
I'm not saying that I'm right.
Well,
I'm just
it's
saying
a good
that
looking logo.
Well, that's
when I
the
see
thing.
an apple, I want to bite it.
I don't like apples.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Why is it? It worked. There's some genius behind it.
Well, did it work because of the logo, or did it work because this is part of Satan's plan to freaking take over and destroy the human race?
Well, why would that have worked?
Well,
Because it was an actual good look. I mean,
Let me ask you this:
I would love for you to.
do you think things happen by coincidence? Like, do you think that things just happen and they just happen just like, oh, well, that just happened to be that way?
I can't. I believe I don't know, Blake. That's a good question. I have to believe that all the goings on are being orchestrated. Obviously, my perspective is coming from a faith-based perspective, where like all things are being orchestrated by spiritual hosts of wickedness, and the Bible even references Satan and his kingdom, but Satan as the prince of the power of the air, the prince of this world right now in this current time.
But what about the things that we say are orchestrated by God? When we say, oh, this was a good thing. This didn't happen by accident. This was a good thing. God put this person in my life. God allowed this to happen. God.
Well, that's because we enjoy enjoyable things. So we like to say that when something good happens, it's of God, and when something bad happens...
I'm gonna talk about that in just a little bit.
Oh,
that's a good point.
Well, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Is that what we think? Because I'm saying you can't really have it both ways, to where you have a good day and you go, well, thank God bless me on this day. He caused this to happen. I found a $20 bill on the street. And then the next day,
someone takes the $20 bill.
Someone steals your $20 bill and you go, oh, that was the work of Satan. That wasn't by accident. I mean, to a degree, things are just happening. But
do you think that do you think that things are purposeful, everything that happens, or do you think that just like, oh, well, that just happened to be the logo? Like, it's just
I struggle with how it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
I struggle with how, well, generally things are just kind of happening and there's no rhyme or reason. But then every now and then, either God or Satan will step in and just influence this.
Well, the two could coexist. I mean,
they could.
Yeah, like, is it?
But then when do you determine which is what? I mean,
like,
then it's just a guessing game.
Is it a coincidence that I'm going to get up here in an hour and go take a pee? Like, that's just the normal functions of life, right?
Yep.
Well, but that's
the things that are moving the pieces in the direction. Like,
I love this conversation.
Well, it's not a coincidence that you're gonna have to get up and pee, because God designed your body to need water and to get rid of the waste and the excess, and so it's not coincidence. It's you drank water, so you have to pee.
I heard someone say if you drank the perfect amount of water, you would never pee.
Cause and effect.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. So,
and if you ate the perfect amount of food that had no waste, you'd never crap.
If you dehydrated, you still pee and your urine's
We had
dark.
a buddy that does that. Scott Worthington.
Yeah.
He craps like once a week.
Well, he goes over the threshold every now and then.
Yeah, we have a dad that does that too.
Well, he just stopped up.
He got
that milk of magnesia keep him going.
But no, that's a good question. It's a pertinent question. And who decides, man?
Speaking of peeing, I got to go pee. Y'all continue.
I do too, man.
Well, y'all go pee. Me and Cornbread will talk about this.
There's 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, there's 2 bathrooms. Y'all go pee.
Screw you guys, YouTube.
You idiots.
I'm going to put the camera on Corn.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, tell me. Tell me, Corn.
Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences at all. Could it be something? Absolutely. Could it be that, who was it, Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
Liked that logo?
Yeah.
Wanted to name his company Apple? I haven't watched or read anything on him, and that's what he come up with? Absolutely.
Well, walk out for me when you say you don't believe in coincidences. I mean, I don't even know what that means or doesn't mean, because I could say I don't believe in coincidences either, but does that then mean that I think everything is orchestrated by some higher power? Well, no. I mean, I don't.
I think nothing happens by mistake.
Do you think everything is caused to happen?
Yeah.
So how does free will work into that if everything is caused to happen?
Ooh, busted you. Busted. Well, some things can be caused by your decisions.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, thank you.
I mean, really, I don't. I
because I tend to agree with you, but then I lean heavily on the side of we ain't got no daggum free will. Everything we do is caused by how we were born, our genetic code, and or how we were raised, the environment that we were brought up in. Neither one of those things did we have jack crap to do with.
Right.
I didn't choose that I was born
that you think the way you think.
Thinking no.
Yeah.
And
when you look at it that way, you're not even choosing the decision making process that you use.
No. And I was raised in an environment that steered me this way. Well, I didn't have no effect on that. I couldn't have done nothing about it. So then if those are the things that cause our decisions to be what they are, well then I don't have control over it.
Yeah, and then that would lead one to believe that if Apple was indeed a company of the enemy,
Yep.
we should become convicted not to deal with it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Well,
In the conversation me and Chili just had.
that being said, like, here's the caveat. The Lord will take bad things and turn them to good for those who love him. So if we could say, well, Apple is a wicked organization, and it's the foundations of it started that way, and that's what's implied by that logo, is that it's meant to be this thing that distracts humanity from their creator, which it very well does. And so we look at that. If we make that conclusion, then we say, well, we shouldn't use those products. I believe that's incorrect, because I also believe that for those who love him, God will take inherently evil and wicked things or circumstances and turn them to good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and also all things are, like, just because, for example, eating of certain meats was bad in the Old Testament, then, you see where Jesus talks about, like, well, it's fine for, by you saying that I can't eat that meat, it actually is giving it more power than it's due. Like, you can eat meat. It's so long as it doesn't cause someone else to stumble, in that particular case. But in this case, to say that I can't use that because it was created by Satan for an evil purpose, but it can also be used for good, you're kind of giving it more power than really it had in the first place.
It's the same as.
Well, how are we going to talk about the pyramids and or imagery and logos without talking about the $1 bill and the pyramid on the back of it with the all seeing eye? That's the daggum foundation of our currency.
Let me see if I have $1.
See if you got $1.
Well, while you're looking for that, let me tell you, we try to say whether we, like, is, are there coincidences or not, and we try to determine this based off of our mind.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the problem. We can't say, do you think there's coincidence or do you think there's not? In the Bible, I could find verses, I can't spit them off right now, but I could find verses to back up that things happen for a reason. They're orchestrated. One verse is God says, behold, I make all things known.
Yeah.
From the end, I start at the end with what I want, and I go back to the beginning and make it. And so we say that some things are coincidence because they're happening subconsciously to us. So we have conscious and subconscious. And so we say, well, I didn't consciously realize that was what happened. So therefore, it must have just been a coincidence. But things affect us subconsciously. But for instance, how we're raised, and that's something that we don't pay attention to. And the decisions you make, the way you act, you could say are a product of how you were raised, and all that led up to culminate to this day right here.
But that's what I go with that.
And
I
then
don't
you
think
get
there's
to the free
coincidences.
will. That's how
But
y'all
then
got.
that's how I get to that.
Yeah.
Because I'm great saying there. I think it's biblical. I think it makes sense that we don't have. But then there's consequences to that being true. And I know you can say, well, we can't wrap our head around how that could be true, and we have free will, and I get that too. But I'm saying it all, to me, adds up to, okay, well, yeah, that's kind of telling me we don't in the way we think of it. Like,
well, does free will mean that you have free will in all things, in all aspects, or does it mean you have free will to choose God or not?
Well, how would we have free will in just that area if we had it in no other? Like how would we, I mean, once again, I can totally follow, well, you can't understand that. You're not smart enough. Correct. But I'm just saying, since I can ask the question, well, how is it that free will, if you said, well, no, the free will that the Bible talks about is just talking about your ability to choose God or not. It's like, well, that seems odd to me that I don't have free will when it's comes down to whether I choose to go bowling tonight or not, but I do. The most important decision, the most important thing to actually consider and think about.
Yeah.
Just go read a book by R.C. called Willing to Believe.
But that won't help you.
R.C. Sproul. Yeah. No, there are no answers, but at least, okay.
You telling me I need to read?
Yeah. R.C.
That's cap.
Chili, before you play us a daggone roll on what's this pyramid on the back of this dollar, because I'm looking at it right now, and I'll tell you what, man, it ain't good. It ain't
that
good.
fold money.
I got to tell y'all about this new stuff, man. Look at this logo.
That's pretty sweet.
On this freaking ultralight
It looks good on that one.
tank top right here. I mean, it is clean, son.
That is.
It is clean. So Barbell has come out with a new lineup. I freaking love these tank tops. I was wearing one this morning at the gym, a white one. We've got the Be Hard logo, and then we have the new Adapt shorts. Unbelievable improvements to these. This is a brand new design, but basically, Barbell took a lot of the feedback that I gave them from running the Cocodona 250, and they built the features that we learned out there while running 250 miles, and they built them into this short right here. It's an awesome short. I wore these yesterday during my workout. And they've got them out now, or tomorrow they're coming out, right, Blake?
Yep, tomorrow.
With the Be Hard logo on them right there. These things are excellent, man. I like them because they got some weight to them. It ain't like a little pair of silkies, right? You can actually put something in your daggone pocket without these things falling off you. You know, they're great length, unless you're Cornbread. Cornbread shaves his legs, and he can't stand He can't stand wearing short shorts because it may have to shave his legs more often. But these will be out tomorrow, man. These Adapt shorts. I mean, they are unbelievable.
Thursday the 18th.
Thank you guys for making. Thank you guys for making these things with the logo on them, and it just looks sharp, man. The way they printed that on there, I'm freaking really happy with this stuff.
Yeah, they look good.
So, Blake, will you attach a link? It's barbellapparel.com.
Yeah, I'll put it in the...
But Blake will put a link. Barbell's been a partner with us here at 307 Project going on, probably 2.5 years now, right, Blake? 2 years, something like that. Yeah. These guys are awesome, man. And they make great clothes, anything from jeans, collared shirts, fitness apparel, whatever you need, you can get it from them. And they're great people with a great product. And that, to me, that's what makes the difference, is the people behind the product. They take feedback, they make improvements, and they're constantly making their gear better so that we can go further, longer, and be more comfortable while we're doing it. So check them out, man, barbellapparel.com. Thank you guys so much for freaking doing this custom lineup. That is sweet. All right.
Cap lock that drip.
Cap lock it. That's drip. That is drip.
Your drip is cap lock, Chad. Cap lock.
Screw that.
Look, man, the dollar bill and all the money, Freemason imagery is all over it. And I don't understand it all, but look at the back and the front and the spider webs around the edge and the flowered up, ornate looking imagery and that flows out of the seals. You know, there's 3 Latin phrases on the dollar bill. E pluribus unum, which is out of many, one. And then that's on the right side with the eagle holding the arrows and the olive branch. I guess that's what that is. Then the second, the great seal on the left side, however you say that. You know, I took Latin. I'm a Latin speaker.
Novus Ordos.
Yeah,
Seclorum.
Novus Ordo Seclorum. That is a new order of the ages.
Well, I'll be dang.
That's what that means. And what's funny is when we reference the New World Order and all this crap, I mean,
the all-seeing eye.
Washington would talk about, a new order of the ages.
I wonder what those letters and Roman numerals on the bottom of the pyramid mean. MDCCLXXVI. Mike, Delta, Charlie, Lima, X-ray, Victor, India. You see them?
Yep. and then annuit, coptus.
Yep.
That is
Those Roman numerals.
that is he approves our undertakings.
Wow.
He has approved our undertakings. Who is he? I don't know.
Those Roman numerals are 1776.
I figured.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that at least makes a little sense.
Learning something new today then.
Yeah. He has approved our undertakings. It's something like that.
Tell you what, boys and girls, this ain't good.
The all seeing eye right there.
Yeah,
I got to get rid of this cash.
it's around the all seeing eye. He has approved our undertakings. Because that's I think that would be called the eye of God. They call it.
Oh, George.
And Novus Ordo Seclorum. That's I believe a new order of the ages.
It's coming,
yeah.
boys and girls.
Hey, yeah, and we carry that around.
Huh.
And yep. And then there's In God We Trust right above the big one.
What do you think about that, CB? I see you over there studying up on something.
I don't know. Is that the sea behind the pyramid? Is it like in front of a bunch of water?
Probably on
Dead
Sapelo Island, actually.
I ain't digging that eyeball constantly checking me out.
The eye of God, you don't like
Thanks
it?
seeing you, buddy.
It always sees you.
You know what's funny, Chili? You've always said all of the evil and all of the evil agendas are in plain sight. You've always said that.
Yeah.
You know, you've told people like the whole, what was it, Agenda 20, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You've told people about all those. It's like they don't try to. The freaking evil people don't try to hide their plans. That's really weird too, man.
I don't have anything in the Bible to say, like, to back this up, but I think there's something to that is how it operates, evil, or how it has to operate. Maybe it doesn't have to, but it does, or maybe it does because it has to. It's like it can't be deceptive, because if it's like true deception of where it swindles you, like it happens without you realizing it. It's like you have to realize it and accept it, or else it's like there's some sort of protection over us to where we can't have the not something evil done, but whatever this agenda is, without it being revealed to you, explained to you in plain sight, whether you fully understand it or not, and then executed. It can't just be.
It can't be hidden.
No, it can't be. It can't be hidden.
Well, you know, you say there's nothing in Scripture that would imply that, but we can look at text that tells us all things will be brought into the light.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I think some of this stuff, it is deceptive because we don't realize it or see it, but we don't pay attention.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, we don't pay attention. It's completely not hidden at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I guess it just seems hidden because politicians don't get up and talk about.
Exactly.
Well,
Nobody's coming out telling you.
Nobody's telling you, hey.
Have you seen the $1 bill?
Yeah. We're telling you what we want to do on the $1 bill, you dummies. You carry it around all day. Yeah, nobody's saying that, so then it's like it's hidden because you can't look for yourself and observe. I mean, I don't know how many people look at the $1 bill, because I did as a child and was like, what is that? But it doesn't seem like that's a common thing. Or if you do, you just kind of get over it. That's just the way it is. Well, I want to know why it looks the way it does. Why is there 3 daggum Latin phrases on it that say he has approved our undertakings, a new order of the ages, and what is it? E pluribus unum.
From many one.
What the crap?
Yeah.
I mean, that means something, and that really meant something to the dudes who put it on there. Like, if it don't mean nothing to you, it meant something to all the men that put that on there. Like big time. And what did it mean to them?
Well, I would say the from many one would be the easiest to explain in terms of the formation of the United States. From many states, one nation.
Sure.
But a new whatever the other one, a new order of the world or whatever, like, yeah, we're talking about like something on a global scale there. I don't know, man. Do you think that the United, when we look at least what we can conclude about the last days from Scripture, do you think that the United States will play a role, or do you think that the United States of America is going to continue to digress into a place where they're no longer consequential on the world stage, or we are no longer consequential on the world stage?
Everybody is firmly convinced that it's one or the other. I don't understand why why it has to be one or the other. It could totally be both.
I think it's all just going to become one big conglomerate.
I mean, there's zero reason to think that the United States, like if you sat down and said there's no way the United States plays a role in this, the end of the world ain't even close, it's going to be in 10,000 years, why would you say that? But also, if you said you think it's impossible that the end of the world is not within the next 5 years, ain't no way we making it out of this century, that's really dumb.
I agree.
That's really dumb to say that that's impossible. It's really dumb because everyone wants to point to, well, look at this, explain this. How could we be this close and all this lining up, and this has never been like this before, and we've had a global stage. If you think it's impossible that the whole daggum world is essentially wiped, I mean, not like it has been, but you get the point, and then we just start over essentially, that could totally happen.
Very easily happen.
Could totally happen.
And there's many different ways that could come about.
Exactly. So do I think it'll play a role? I think it could, but I think you could be looking at 2,000 years from now and look at America like Mesopotamia.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I've thought about that too.
So
there could just be another reset.
So I have no idea. But I do think that whenever the end is, whether America's even a thing or not, yes, it's all going to one.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible literally illustrates that that's what will happen. And also, if you pay attention to the world and foreign affairs, you don't have to read the Bible to think that would happen.
Yeah.
It's happening.
That's true.
So, yeah, it's happening. Whether it will happen with America involved or not, that's just a matter of what happens on a global scale. But if America is still around, then yes, America will play a huge role in joining the world together. And as a matter of fact, look, I'm not trying to dog Trump or trying to make out Donald Trump to be a bad, like, especially what I'm about to say was done under his administration, a bad thing. But freaking Jared Kushner, the Trump administration, everyone wants to attribute, whoever the president is, everyone wants to attribute everything to them.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
So Joe Biden has caused everything that's happened, and anything good that was happened, well, that's Joe. Well, dude, no.
He can't cause anything.
No, Joe, he's a vegetable, man, and Trump might as well be. That's what you idiots don't understand, is even though he's not a vegetable, he might as well be. He literally, Donald Trump in office did as much as a carrot would have done that was considered the president. He sat there and golfed and spoke when he had to. And boy, but you liked when he spoke. Yeah, I get it, but he didn't do anything. It's things being done under him. And what you don't understand, why you say, well, my life was a lot better when Trump was in. Yeah, because it's freaking designed that way, okay? It's designed for your life to be different under different administrations and the pendulum to continue to swing. But what happens ultimately happens. See, what happened under the Trump administration with Jared Kushner was the Abraham Accords. There was peace in the Middle East, right? It seemed like the first time in forever. The amount of peace deals that were struck, Jared Kushner deserves, everyone says Trump, but he didn't even do it. It was Kushner and his team. They deserve a Nobel Peace Prize because, my Lord, look at what they did, and Trump negotiating tactics, and They brought the world together. They were brought together as much as they're brought together now. Conflict stopped for a reason. I believe, if you want my prediction, I could be totally freaking wrong. That's why I don't even like making predictions. But I would wager that Trump becomes the president again in this election cycle. Not because he's duly elected or was ever duly elected or because Biden was duly elected. None of that. But because that's who it will be. Mm-hmm. And that's the cycle that is being put forth. And then what will happen is peace will again, quote unquote, return to the Middle East where it's at. There's conflict in Israel now. Trump comes into office, boom, that stops. Not because he's actually doing, and not because like, oh, Iran's scared to attack Israel if Trump's in there. When Biden's in there, they feel strong and powerful. No, that's not why. And I'm not saying that the U.S. directly tells Iran, okay, don't attack now, but attack now. But essentially that is what happens.
Well, I talked about that on my truck talk.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that is essentially what happens. So
a lot of people will agree with you on that too, by the way, at least in the comments section.
Well, yeah, they don't have to agree or not. I mean, that's just reality.
Well, it's just good that people are seeing things through that lens finally.
The exact same thing happened minus us being involved and Israel being involved the first time. It was either the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020 when we struck somewhere or another and killed one of their generals, Iranian generals of the Revolutionary Guard.
What was it, Soleimani? Or
yeah, and they said we're going to retaliate. So we get to sit on and watch them shoot rockets at one of our bases in Iraq. They show the rockets going up. They're coming to one of our bases. Guess what? None of our people were there.
How about that?
Because they talked to each other and said, look, dude, we got to save face. We got to continue to oppress our people or whatever it is they do. We got to, can we save a little face? And whoever said, hey, we about to haul out right here, shoot some rockets over there, it's going to be fine.
Yep.
And if you think for a sweet second that the same thing just didn't happen, and we got to sit on a nice, beautiful Georgia Saturday and listen to the world announce Iran is attacking Israel and get the play-by-play 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, but there's something that doesn't allow people to see that. I don't know. There's something that hinders that from being what is plainly seen. I don't know what's blocking it, but something is.
It's the fear of man.
Well,
yeah, human emotion.
Yeah, that works for me. I mean, yeah, because that is plainly what's happening. That's the level that it's orchestrated. It ain't orchestrated on a minor scale. Ain't nothing a surprise on what happens.
Yeah, I talked about it in truck talk. Same thing.
I mean, nothing. And if you want to go back to there's always fighting with Israel in the Middle East, but if you want to go back to what kicked off all this anyway, and you think, like I said the other night, that the Iron Dome was compromised by accident, you're wrong, man. You're wrong. You have to explain how that happened before I have to tell you why it didn't, because the burden of proof would lie with you making the claim that happened as it said it was. And it just, the peace and the unrest in the Middle East will continue to waver and vary. And I think it all comes to a head in November, and the aftermath of that election will not because it will actually, but will then play a role in the resolution of the current, if you will, conflict. So, no, that's what I think about that. But yeah, what Cornbread just said, if you would pay attention to every time there's any announcement, you could find.
Well, that's what was hilarious to me on Saturday when everybody on not everybody obviously, but the majority of people on all of the social media platforms were commenting and posting that World War III was about to kick off, and it's like that. Well, that's proving what you're saying. People can't see what's happening. Like people are still functioning with this idea that you have independent nations or independent world powers who are acting independently because they actually hate another nation. Like, that's not happening anymore. That's not happening anymore.
No, but that would have to be happening for any of this to make sense in the framework that most people look at.
Exactly.
And so so you continue to look at it that way. Mm-hmm. But then but why do you think nothing makes, isn't it funny though? If you talk to the people who think World War III is starting because of that, and they look at the Iran, they think, oh, that caught Israel by surprise. They think, they're confused. They don't get it. They literally will tell you, why would Iran do that? We'll bomb the crap out of them. I don't get why they do. They're stupid, man. Hey, you idiot. It would all make sense if you looked at it in the proper framework. You're trying to squeeze it into this box in your mind of where it operates how you think it should operate or does or always has. It don't. If you look at it in the proper framework, it ain't confusing at all why Iran did that. It ain't confusing at all. Money's about to change hands, boy. It ain't confusing.
Yep. Well, believe that, boy.
Drip on cap lock, son.
Corn keeps his drip on cap lock.
All right.
Corn came up with a new slang term.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what I'm going to be able to title this episode. We've covered so many topics here: language, increase in technology. Are there such things as coincidence, symbolism on the dollar, conflict in the Middle East? Like, good night. This
like a Tupac song, son.
Yeah, this is gonna be a paragraph long title right here, man.
Some old school Tupac right there.
Machiavelli.
That's right.
How long have we been going here?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. I had a whole list of stuff that I wanted to go over with you guys today, but
well, dang, man.
I enjoyed this conversation. This was good conversation. But you know, as I go through my as I'm moving through a season of difficulty, obviously the Lord is continuing to conform me more into the likeness of his image and reveal new things to me about suffering and what the purpose of suffering is and all that. And I've been thinking a lot about it. And I'll just go over a few points here with you guys. If you might also be going through a season of difficulty, and even if you're not, just go ahead and expect that it's coming, all right? And that's my first point. When I talk to people who are going through something hard, they want to get it over with so that things can be good again. They want to move through the season of difficulty or overcome the problem that they are experiencing so that then things can be good again. And what they don't realize is there will always be something else. So if you're moving through a season of difficulty and you're trying to rush it and you want to get through it so that life can be perfect again, because you think when you get through this, when you get this squared away, whatever it is you're dealing with, when you overcome this obstacle, when this suffering is over, things can be perfect. You're telling yourself a lie. And it's going to hinder you from moving through the difficult season that you're moving through right now in this moment. You need to understand that when you get done with this difficult thing, there is another difficult thing coming. It never freaking ends. You might have a little break in between if you're lucky, but something else is coming. Get over it, man. And our perspective on these difficult things has to change. I've been I'll tell you, I had a really strange thing happen to me yesterday. It's the first time I've ever experienced this before. So I was at the gym yesterday, and there's a young man that comes to our gym who had a very traumatic brain injury. And he lost the ability to walk, maybe even, I don't know if he lost the ability to speak, but he can't walk. He can now, but he completely couldn't after his TBI. Well, Hamza's working with him. So I've been watching Hamza work with him for the last couple of months. And just like very basic things are really hard for this young man. He's like 17 years old. And so it's always inspired me to see him in there, you know, working through the things that he's working through. But in the past, when I have seen this young man in there in the midst of his season of difficulty, at least the one he's in right now, and by the way, a season of difficulty that I can't even comprehend. At 17 years old, like I out of all the hard stuff I've been through, like it pales in comparison to what this young man is going through. Like it's not even in the same freaking zip code, man. It's always so funny that people, when I see this stuff, I'm like, I can't even believe that people look up to me and things that I've done that are supposedly hard. Yeah, they were hard. Yeah, they were hard for me. Now, we shouldn't compare like that, but it's just a perspective thing, right? So in the past, as I've seen this young man working through his season of difficulty in this challenge, you know, there's a part of me that when I would see him, I kind of feel bad for him. Like I don't know if you would say sorry is the right word, but I feel bad for him. And it's not that I'm grieving for him. It's that I feel bad for him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, man, that really sucks, man. I feel real sorry for that young man. Yesterday, when I saw this young man out on the sidewalk with his father in the fight, son, relearning how to walk down the sidewalk. Like in the fight, son. Like I looked at him and I felt joy for him. Really weird. Never experienced it before, but I saw him in this struggle and I was joyful for him. Now, there was still a part of me that grieved the fact that he was suffering, but this other part, and they existed together, grief for his suffering, but not a grief that produces this feeling sorry for him, but grieving for his suffering, but then also feeling joy for the fact that he is going through this struggle, and the joy is produced by the knowledge of what I know that is going to produce in his life, because he's not giving up. And I hope he has the Spirit of Christ in him. I hope he knows Christ. I need to ask him one day. But look at him and say, that's freaking awesome, man. Like, that's going to produce a version of a human. That's going to produce something in him that could not be produced in any other way. And I felt joy for him because of that. And I was like, whoa, that caught me off guard, man. It caught me off guard, but it made me think about how the Lord Jesus looks upon us in the midst of our times of difficulty. When we cry out to the Lord and we ask for our difficulty to end, we ask for our suffering to end, we get impatient, we're tired of it. I think a lot of times we think that we may envision in our mind that the Lord is looking on us with pity. Have you ever thought that the Lord Jesus might be looking upon you in your moments of greatest hardship during this life, and he might be smiling upon that situation? That he might be joyful to see you going through the suffering that you are going through because of his knowledge, his foreknowledge of what he knows it will produce in you. He knows it. You can't see it. When you're in the everyday grind of it, when you're in the midst of it, you don't have that perspective that Christ has where you can see the beginning from the end. It's hard to even think that anything is going to come good out of this pain and suffering that you're feeling. But have you ever wondered, or has it ever crossed your mind, that the Lord Jesus Christ might be looking upon you and, yes, maybe grieving the pain that you feel because that wasn't part of his design and he's not causing it, but you are going through it. And because you are his, he is smiling upon that circumstance that you are enduring because he knows what it's doing to you. And he can see it even though that you can't. And I felt like the Holy Spirit gave me that perspective yesterday as I was witnessing this young man. Really, really strange. It reminds me of a Bible verse that basically describes how we are being perfected through our suffering. Do you understand that? The child of God is being perfected through suffering. Now, all humans are going to suffer in this life. The difference between the human who suffers through this life without God and the human who suffers through this life with God, the difference is the one who suffers through this life with God is being led to perfection by way of suffering. The one who is suffering through this life without God is just simply suffering. There's nothing good being produced from it. It reminded me of a verse in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. God's word says, this is Paul writing this by inspiration of the Holy Spirit, "And lest I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I be exalted above measure. Concerning this thing, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." Do you understand? This sums up how we as children of God are being perfected through suffering. And it's going to come, and it's going to keep coming. But if you love the Lord, it is producing something great in you and in the kingdom and in the body of Christ. So it's just strange for me to look at now maybe seasons of struggle and find joy in them instead of them leading to depression or them leading to regret or them leading to anxiety or them leading to, whatever negative emotion they would normally lead to be able to look upon them with joy and know that Christ Jesus is actually smiling upon my circumstance. Although he grieves for our pain, he also is thankful at the same time that we are his and we are experiencing these things in this life. It's a perspective shift. And the last thing that I have considered is this idea of peace. This idea of peace in the midst of suffering. There's a verse in the Bible here that I want to share with you. It's in Philippians chapter 4, verse 7. And it says, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds through Jesus Christ." What is this peace, and why is it described as a peace that surpasses all understanding? I've been considering this because I've been considering the peace that is in my heart through Jesus Christ in the midst of suffering. And why is this peace described as a peace that surpasses all understanding? Because this peace that Scripture is talking about here is different than the peace as it is known and as it would be described by the world. When the world thinks about having peace, they think about the absence of struggle, the absence of worry, the absence of pain, the absence of toil, the absence of labor. When we think about peace, we think about, maybe for you, it's laying out on a freaking beach somewhere with nothing to do and everything's good, the sun's shining, and you think, it's quiet out here. I hear the sound of the water. This is peaceful. That's the world's definition of peace. That is not the peace that this is talking about. And that's why it's described as a peace that surpasses the understanding of man. Because this peace that Christ is offering to us is a peace that resides in us, and it allows our spirit to rest in the midst of all the things and all the circumstances of the world that the world would say produces a time of unpeacefulness. We can be experiencing times of great conflict, but tap into a peace that surpasses all understanding, and your spirit and your soul can rest in that. This is the peace that we want to connect with. All right? Stop seeking peace as defined by the world. Stop seeking peace in this idea of moving to the freaking wilderness somewhere and living in a little cabin by the river off the grid. That peace will not last. Something's coming. That peace will not endure. Seek the peace that surpasses all understanding, that will endure any circumstance, any trial, any tribulation, any time. It will endure, and it will be ever present in your heart by way of the Holy Spirit of Christ. That's the peace that we need to seek, and that is peace as defined by the Christian son and daughter of the Lord Jesus Christ. Get that through your head, man. And quit thinking you need to get through this time of suffering so that then you can have peace as defined by the world. Because you're just screwing yourself and you're hindering yourself from being perfected, from being conformed into the likeness and image of Christ. Does all that make sense to y'all?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Blake?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Holy crow.
That was a good addition.
Can't add nothing to that, brother. For
No.
real.
Well, that's what I've been pondering.
Bussin'.
All right.
Well, we've got some super chats here.
Hey, I wanted to let you guys know too. If you enjoy conversation like we just finished up with here, and really delving into the meaning of God's word, like the real important stuff that will sustain you, you can join us on Patreon. We do 3 live meetings per month. 3 Sundays. It's Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a live call where you can join in. And it's Blake and I. We teach a message from Scripture, and then we open up the call for you guys to ask any questions or add to or whatever. It's live. And so it's really cool. We call it Resurrected. We've been doing it for like 3 years now. And if you're not able to make the live call, we post the recording on the Patreon platform. And you know what's nice about Patreon? If you're there, you actually get notifications and see the content that we post, and we can actually speak freely and say the things that we want to say there. It's actually where we should freaking move if Patreon ever got to the point, that would be the ultimate place to move all of your content. Because you're not limited by these daggone algorithms, and you're not limited by the hindrance of speech and words that you can use or you can't use. So join us on Patreon, man. It's a really user-friendly app. You can download it to your phone, and you have access to the page, and Cornbread posts behind-the-scenes stuff on there. We do Resurrected 3 Sundays a month. There's a whole community there of about, 500 or 600 people. And you can comment on the posts. You can interact with us. You can interact with each other. So if you didn't know about that, I wanted to tell y'all about it.
Yeah, and some people are asking, like, where's that? We can put a link in the show notes, but
I will literally put a link in the show notes that you can click on it, and it will take you right there.
Yeah, but if you type in Google Patreon 3 of 7 project, it'll pull up. There's different tiers on there where people can support the podcast, and so different things, come with different tiers. So just so you know that, just type it in, go in there and look at it if you want to join us on Resurrected. All right, we got some super chats here. We got Chili Jr. Coming in at $4.99. Dad, when are we going to start training for the Georgia Jewel?
Jeez.
You need to quit neglecting your offspring, Chili.
Well, Chili Jr., I trained years ago for it, and I ran it. So
he remembers that. He's your son.
Well,
yeah, he remembers when you
He
won.
wants to do it again.
well, he never did it. He needs to do it for the first time. So when are you going to start training? You should have already been training, you freaking derelict.
We got Kevin Hollinger coming in at $4.99. What do you think we need to do in order to get our country back to at least one half of its former self?
There's no hope for that, Kevin. Don't worry about it. Ain't happening.
Jill Crumpton coming in at $4.99.
Thank you, Jill.
Jordan Vandermolen coming in at $13.99 Canadian.
Dang, Jordan.
Dang.
Said, thank you guys for all the faith-based and excellent content. As a young Christian father and husband, it's great to hear from people on the same page. It's getting rare.
What part of Canada?
He didn't say.
Sorry.
Gatekeeper. He's a Patreon member, always on Resurrected. PVVQ.
Yep.
Actions speak louder than words. Keep it real. $5.
Thank you, Gatekeeper.
Zach. Big Hamian. Coming in at $1.99. Dang, Chili, that pronator muscle looking dangerous.
Yeah, what you think about that, huh?
Told you.
Chili Jr. just come back at $1.99, said he's telling Mom you said that.
Dang, son.
Chili Jr.
He's ticked. Mark Stoddard coming in at $4.99. Becky loves her dry bones shirt. Bless you all, 3 of 7 project.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your support, man.
Jeff Nuko, $5. Military to civilian is about 10 to 15 window years ahead of technology, I think he's talking about.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Rab, 1967, coming in at £5. Chad, do you see a time where Christians will need to fight the ever-growing cult of Islam? Why are people so blind to this religion of hate?
No, I think I don't see it. I mean, I don't. Well, not that we haven't been at war against certain sects of Islam over the course of a long period of time, but no, I think all religions that religious philosophies and stuff, I think they're all just going to get mashed into the same conglomerate. It's just all part of the global system.
Chili Jr. coming in at $1.99. Does this pertain to Romans 9? Some of what we were talking about earlier.
We don't know Chili Jr., but we love you, man.
Sean Wright coming in at £10. If you don't eat, you don't poop. If you don't poop, you die.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good word there, Sean.
No cap.
Nonetheless.
LV
Told
coming in
you.
at $4.99.
Oh.
Silver
LV.
platter in quotations for the call.
There you go.
That's real LV right there, ain't it?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bo Diddley coming in at
Bo
$10. Idea for a Paranormal Land Cruiser Experience T-shirt. Don't be a turd, but if you do, be a Bigfoot turd.
We seeing you. We're gonna see Bo Diddley soon,
Yep.
Now that's a turd.
Now look, folks, that's a turd.
and you can tell because there's hair in it.
And that leads me to what I was wondering. Is this being carnivorous?
It's freaking Hobart Jackson in the full, son.
Paul Grogan coming in at $5. 3 of 7 has quickly become my favorite channel. Hoo-yah, shipmate.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, man. Thank you for your support. And if you don't mind, share it with some of your buddies.
Bearded Double Alt coming in at $10. Appreciate all the work you guys are doing. Let's all remember Trump banned bump stocks and went right along with the crowd. He's better than Biden, but who isn't? Keep training. Stay present. God bless.
Agreed.
Good word. Good
There
word.
it is.
Manfred Komp coming in at $20. Please don't
Dang.
hunt Sasquatch. He is a brother, and when you see one, it's a consciousness event.
Roger that, Manfred. We'll see about that.
Might disappoint you.
Travis Van S coming in at $9.99. 1 John 2:15.
Thank you, Travis.
Chili JR coming in
Are
at
you kidding me?
$4.99. By the way, this money is tax deductible because I stole your card.
He's so grounded. And he's so grounded.
Son,
You won't. Let me go ahead and make a promise. You will not see Chili Jr. on the live chat next week. I can promise you that. No freaking cap. I'm coming in bussing. Yeah, bet on that. Bet. Bet. You won't be on the live call, Chili Jr. Bet.
Memphis, he ain't going to run errands with you either, is he? Memphis Mac Daddy coming in at $4.99. Corn, is that Hoist ointment still working on them tick bites?
Believe that, son.
Bet.
Believe that.
yes.
No cap.
I bet Chili Jr.'s sitting at home right now eating fried eggs and cheese.
I guarantee you.
waiting on them empty boxes. Chili's gonna bring him here in a little bit.
Yeah.
He got you 7 boxes, Chili Jr. You about to make a big fort, boy.
You going to slide down the steps in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to pay that power bill, go to the bank.
That's right.
Yep.
You know what we do at the bank. Chili Jr. don't know about that.
Yeah. You want to teach him.
Let's see here. We got Muscled Up Runner Greer coming in at $9.99. Jeremiah 29:11. God bless and love y'all.
Muscled Up Runner, thank you, man. And thank you for always sharing the shows and stuff, dude. That means a lot. I mean,
Yeah, no
it's
cap.
like the freaking only reason you can overcome this stupid censorship and algorithm, man.
He puts awesome posts on Instagram too.
Yeah,
Like
he
it
does
ain't
good.
no joke. Yeah.
does good,
I
man.
love seeing his stuff.
Steve Greer. Yep.
We got Artie Rowe coming in at $5. Romans 5:1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Artie. I hope you're doing well, man.
We got the LV coming in at $4.99.
No message.
He put this like kind of little flashing character that
Okay.
says "try again."
Okay.
Perfect.
He,
Thank you,
he doesn't
LB.
always bless us with a message, but I'm thankful when he does.
Garrick coming in at $49.99.
Good.
Lord Garrick.
Right.
I'm feeling that peace as I'm going through some struggles in life. I've never felt like this before, accepting Jesus into my life. Please seek Jesus.
Yeah, good word, Garrick. Thank you, brother.
Sheldon Hoyt coming in at $5. I ain't got nothing, but here's $5.
Appreciate that, Sheldon.
Thank you, Sheldon.
That'll buy Chili Jr. some more fried eggs and cheese.
Rena Rain coming in at $2. Great chat.
Thank you, Rena.
Thomas Cornell coming in at $6.99 Canadian. Appreciate y'all and everything that you do.
Thank you, Thomas.
Travis Van S coming back in at $9.99. Only language I'm speaking right now is Turkey.
Believe that.
Yeah, I'll sing
no
Travis.
Cap. No cap, Travis.
Chili Jr. coming back in at $9.99
Are
and
you
said,
Good
freaking
night.
kidding me?
said, I'm just going to disappear like you did when I showed up.
Dang, son.
Ask him whose card he's using.
He said it's yours.
Well, no, it ain't. I keep track of my transactions. You using somebody's card, you're grounded, and you ain't gonna be on here next week. So go ahead and drop in all the money. You better run the limit on that card because you done.
You better not talk to Chili Jr. like that. They ain't gonna run errands with you next time you got to go get stuff done.
He's still
You better
learning.
think about it.
He's got a lot to learn, Blake.
Yeah, you better think about it. That ain't how you handled that, Bubba.
Disagree.
Manfred Comp coming back in at $5. I appreciate your show message and your message. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Manfred.
you, Manfred. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, guys, and thank all you guys for your just continued support. Obviously, we wouldn't exist without every single one of you guys who have tuned in and been a part of the conversation. Subscribe to the channel. You guys who have supported us on the Super Chats. You guys who support us on Patreon. You guys who have come train with us. You guys who have bought a T-shirt. You guys are the lifeblood of everything that we do. And everything that you see here is possible because of you and your support. And it just amazes me from week to week at just the outpouring of love and support that you guys give us. You're unyielding, and it's pretty daggone mind-boggling to me personally. So thank you, and our promise to you is that we will keep doing the best that we can to help the people who listen in some way, shape, or form, and spread the good word, man. We'll do the best that we can, and thank you guys so much.
Nate the Great coming in at $1.99.
By the way, I do have one more thing. If you ever wondered if Sherbet Green was a poser or not, where is he, man? Remember, he said he was back.
I got on to him on the live
Yeah,
call-in
he
show.
told us he was back. Now he's gone.
Yeah.
Sherbet Green, man.
Inconsistent.
Yep.
Flaky, man.
Yep, flaky, like a
Yep.
dang biscuit.
All right. Love you guys. Enough
Okay.
said.